From middle school to high school, my image of a relationship was something out of a shonen anime. Myself being the strong, silent type, my girlfriend was the damsel in distress type, and screw everyone, because once I have my girl, it's us against the world. That kind of romance from a young lad that melts your heart like grilled cheese. College wasn't that great either. While some of the immature stuff phased out of me, I learned that it takes two to lift a couch. Investing in the right partner is not a race, and I seriously needed to learn how to man up. Flash forward to 2025, I have so much to unpack about my dating history, failures, and mistakes. Safe to say, all my relationships went the way I would have never thought they would. And I'm here to share it for the internet. Hopefully, someone doesn't waste their time and suffer the headaches and mistakes I went through. What is up, guys? I'm Mac. I'm back. Today's video is the first of many for my summer series. I know we're still in April, but I found myself with some unexpected free time, so may as well make hay while the sun shines. Today's video is especially dedicated to you guys who are looking for their first girlfriend or girlfriend in general. If any of the young women in the audience also happen to be watching, I think many of the guys could also benefit from y'all's input today. So the perfect starting spot was my deep yearning for my first girlfriend and being lonely. From the ages of about 13 to 18, I was not a high school star quarterback. In my friend group, I found myself frequently being roasted, but also being the lead comedian sometimes. It was a weird mix of my friends valued my friendship and company, but at the same time didn't take me as seriously as I had liked to have been. Reason I bring those points up is because that was feeding into my low self-esteem, which was why I wanted that first girlfriend so badly. I had built this image of the girl who loves you no matter what, despite your flaws or whatever else. It was more about what I was going to get out of it versus putting anything in and what she was going to get out of it. You can probably start to see the problems with this thinking. Now, there is nothing wrong with really wanting your first girlfriend. It's normal, and I am sure many people are experiencing it right now. We all desire romance and love. It's natural. And I don't want to take away your guys' emotions and dictate how you should feel. Of course, it could get to an unhealthy level, which is what I want to steer people away from. So that low self-esteem and not being taken seriously by anyone was also contributing to why I felt lonely during school. And in college, it was more so I didn't have friends at all during my freshman year and some other periods during college. It's instinctive to want to respond and say, getting a girlfriend won't cure loneliness. Even though the problem would be solved because now you have someone, the core issue where both of these motivations went wrong for me was trying to find total fulfillment from a single person. Couple that with some insecurity, and I had some bad relationship experiences. So get your confidence in check. Insecurity is not self-obvious in my opinion. I'm not a professional. Just like high blood pressure is known as the silent killer, I think insecurity, if left unattended, can be just as bad. It took a long time for me to come to the realization of my insecurities and how they were affecting those around me. You know, I seriously don't want to see you guys become the guy who thinks his girl is cheating on him every 10 seconds, crashes out over the smallest things, makes it all about himself, and thinks feeling that you care for her counts versus acting like it. Not a fun thing to reflect on. The next big issue with my relationships was that they all lacked direction or purpose. The turnaround time of becoming official after meeting was foolish. We'd find each other attractive, talk, first date, and bam, now official. After the span of like 7 to 10 days. Then the honeymoon phase, love bombing follows suit. Then after 6 or 8 months, it was sort of like, okay, now what? I never thought about serious stuff or what I wanted the relationship to become until way later, which, to no surprise, led to a lot of failures, frustration, and lack of fulfillment for both sides, which caused a lack of communication or some miscommunication. I know the talking stage gets memed on a lot on the internet, but for myself, I'd rather have all my relationships had no chance at all after 1 to 3 weeks of talking. Even if I would have been ghosted, that beats wasting a year of trying to live off a honeymoon phase and find out neither of us have real plans about the relationship or we wanted totally different things. And what usually went hand in hand with not having a direction was knowing my ideal type. I encourage some of you guys watching, think about what kind of girl are you into? Do values and beliefs matter to you more? Are you a very religious guy? Are you an athlete or artist? Do you want a girl who's like that so you guys have something in common to share for many years? And the opposite of that, what are your deal breakers? What don't you want in a partner? For those of you who aren't religious, perhaps you're atheist or agnostic, how tolerable are you with having a religious partner? Children, some people want them, some people don't. On top of knowing what kind of a person I was into, I took a while to figure out what kind of a person I was. What did I stand for? What were my priorities in life? How steady am I in my values and judgment? Which is why I had no business being in some of my relationships when I wasn't capable nor ready for difficult conversations. I don't know where this quote is from, but I just remember it for being some of the best relationship advice I hold. It goes, if you're not ready for difficult conversations, you're not ready for a relationship at all. And difficult conversations can vary. For example, moving. You might want to go to a new state after college to look for work, but your girlfriend doesn't want to. I remember I had this friend in high school, senior year. He broke up with this girl because he wasn't interested in a long distance relationship since she was going to be attending out of state. Whether he was right or wrong for that, it's not really up for me to decide. I'm sure it wasn't easy for him to do. From the small peek I had, it looked like it was handled well by both sides, but there's no linear method to a perfect, difficult conversation. It's just something you're going to have to truck through and learn to do from experience. At least that's how I had to learn. Failing to address boundaries was the cause of many headaches as well, and led to a lack of confidence because I was just going with the flow to maintain the peace sometimes. The two biggest areas where it really screwed me up was letting my grades in high school and college deteriorate and neglecting the sports I loved, which was mostly caused to a lack of self-discipline and being more reasonable with myself with the amount of time I wanted to spend with my girlfriend. Years later, it sucks looking back at how abruptly I left basketball and boxing. Not to say there isn't anything I can do about it now, but I would have loved to have had those sports been a part of my college life more. I don't know how good I would have been at those sports if I had stuck to them. I just know sometimes watching on TV or at an arena, I'm just left to wonder, what if I didn't quit? I think of those phone calls to my mom that I couldn't make it to practice. My last boxing class, I was too scared to get in the ring because I lost that dog in me. All that was on my mind was, when was I going to see my girlfriend next? I still remember the texting conversation with my mom when I quit my final basketball team mid-season, all just to spend more time with my girlfriend and salvage a relationship that was going nowhere and was doomed to end. In my naive mind, I thought this trade-off and investment was worth it because I deluded myself into thinking I'd find fulfillment in life through a relationship, knowing very little about how it was eating and gnawing at my life inside and out. Another consequence of avoiding conflict was wasting 2 years on dating during college. There was this relationship where my girlfriend wanted to be together borderline 24/7. It wasn't feasible. We were both going to school and working at the same time. We were seeing each other maybe once a week, and that was on the weekend. And it was quality time. To me, it wasn't a big deal, and it meant a lot to me, even if it was one day out of the week. Compare that to when we first started dating, we saw each other almost every single day at school. And still, that wasn't a big deal to me. But for her, I think that became a precedent and a standard. In my mind, I knew that kind of free time wasn't going to last forever, so I enjoyed every moment of it while I could. The couple I look up to now as a model are my parents. There were periods in their marriage where I knew they were not seeing each other, maybe once or twice during the week. But that didn't mean they stopped loving each other, or else they'd probably be divorced by now. They just had that mutual understanding of making certain sacrifices to keep food on the table and a roof over everyone's head. So to me, that was normal. But I guess to her, it wasn't acceptable. And I mean, to each their own. I'm not saying my love language or hers is right or wrong. It just is what it is. I have my views of spending quality time. She had hers, and all of you in the audience have yours as well. So setting a boundary or expectation earlier would have saved us both our time. Because boundaries aren't walls, so they're road signs that keep two people from crashing. When she broke up with me, I just felt dumb at how the signs were there early on, but I chose to ignore it because I was afraid to start over. Not to say that my feelings weren't genuine for her and that the relationship was. miserable. It just felt like a bad investment that could have been less costly. I should have been more of a man sooner to step up and say, I don't think this is going to work out. I can't deny the dating scene right now is crazy for both genders out there. Hopefully my small voice can help some of y'all in the audience see clearly through the mud. I don't want to comment on focusing on one gender versus the other. I want my message to be about focusing on what you can control and not on what you can't control. Mix it in with some big bro advice about maturing emotionally and being your best self. My experience may not be applicable to everyone, and if it didn't resonate or relate, please, I encourage you, share your experience and best lessons learned in the comments. I've never been in the friend zone. I've never been in a situationship. I've never been cheated on. And I for sure did not marry my high school or college sweetheart. There's stuff I can't comment on. There's one last takeaway as my conclusion I want you guys to go home with is a relationship is a responsibility. When you feel and are ready to get into a relationship and a girl accepts being your girlfriend, she's placing a lot of trust in you. It's a responsibility, especially if she's loyal and stays by your side through ups and downs, even your own BS. Always respect her and treat her kindly, whether things are going good or bad. Relationships aren't just about what you want, they're about being there for each other. Probably the hardest lesson out of all of them that I've had to learn. But what do you guys have to say? Was your relationship with your first girlfriend what you expected at all? What's your biggest mistake and lesson you've learned from dating? Anything from my experiences that resonate? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.